Have you ever woken up just staring at the ceiling and felt this deep, undeniable dread about the day ahead? If that sounds familiar, then this is for you. We're going to dig into the psychology of why that traditional 9 to 5 can feel so fundamentally wrong for so many of us.
It's this feeling, right? A literal heaviness. Your day hasn't even properly begun, but you already feel weighed down by it. And this isn't just a case of the Mondays. For a lot of people, it's a sign of something much, much deeper. It's a conflict between who you are and what your job demands you to be.
And there's a term for this: occupational misalignment. Now, the most important thing to get here is that this is not a personal failure. It doesn't mean you're lazy or ungrateful. It's a neurological state. You feel drained because the work you do is just wired completely differently from the way you are.
So let's actually diagnose that conflict. Welcome to Act 1, your brain versus the clock. This is where we get into the real friction, the clash between how you're built to work and how the modern world expects you to work.
This really gets to the core of the issue. It's all about an effort-reward imbalance. See, on one hand, you might have a performance-based brain. You're driven by results, by making an impact. But on the other hand, you're stuck in a time-based system where you're really just trading your time for money, no matter how much you actually get done.
And this is exactly what it feels like. It's like a cage. When you're someone who just wants to get things done, this system is maddening. Because whether you have a breakthrough day or just barely show up, the paycheck is the same. Psychologically speaking, that violates a core human need we all have, the need for competence, to feel like our efforts actually matter.
And it's not just about the reward, it's about the autonomy gap. That feeling of having to ask permission for a simple doctor's appointment or being watched over by a manager who doesn't quite get what you do. This study from the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology is crystal clear. Having control over your work is a way bigger deal for job satisfaction than your salary is.
And this isn't just a feeling. It has a real physical cost. When you're constantly micromanaged, your body is flooded with the stress hormone cortisol. A 2017 study even linked low workplace autonomy directly to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. So you're not being difficult. Your body is having a genuine biological stress response to a lack of control.
So, if the system itself is the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, that brings us to Act 2, where we're going to explore a different way of thinking. It's called the portfolio career.
A portfolio career basically means you stop looking for that one single perfect job that's supposed to tick all the boxes. Instead, you build several different income streams, each one tapping into a different skill or interest you have.
So what does that actually look like? Well, maybe you do some freelance coding for about 10 hours a week. Then you spend another 5 hours creating and selling some digital art. And maybe you dedicate a weekend a month to a small consulting project. It's about diversifying who you are, not just where your money comes from. And the funny thing is, this isn't some radical new age idea. The whole concept of one person, one career is actually pretty recent. It's a product of the Industrial Revolution. For most of human history, we were all generalists. We had to be. In a way, this portfolio model is just a return to a more natural human way of living and working.
Okay, but I know what you're thinking. Isn't that risky? This brings us right into Act 3, the myth of stability. We've been sold this idea that a single 9 to 5 job is the safest bet you can make. Let's really take a look at that.
So this is the old way of thinking about risk. We see our one job as this big, sturdy pillar holding up our entire life. But look closer. It's a single point of failure. If that one pillar gets knocked down by a layoff or a bad boss, everything comes crashing down with it.
Now compare that with the portfolio model. You have multiple pillars holding you up. If you lose one client or one of your side projects doesn't work out, it's a blow, sure, but you don't lose everything. The whole structure is still standing. You could call it decentralized safety.
And this isn't just a nice theory either. We've got data on this. A 2023 study found that people with several income streams actually report 34% less financial anxiety than people with one traditional job. So this isn't about being reckless, it's a strategic move toward real, genuine security. This quote just flips the whole conversation on its head. We've been taught to confuse stability with dependency. But putting your entire financial well-being into the hands of a single company, well, that might just be the biggest risk of all.
And look, even if you feel like your job is totally secure, the statistics tell a different story. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average person will hold 12 different jobs over their lifetime. That stable job of yours is, statistically speaking, temporary anyway.
So, who is this portfolio career really for? Is it for you? In Act 4, we're going to shift from the what to the who. Let's find out if you might be something called a multipotentialite. Just ask yourself this simple question. Are you the kind of person who gets really excited about a ton of different things? Do you have like a dozen hobbies or side projects you'd love to dive into if you just had the time? If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone.
There's actually a name for this, coined by researcher Emily Wapnick, a multipotentialitist. It's for someone with a huge range of interests. And the key insight here is that you aren't scattered or unfocused. You are designed to be a generalist. And for you, a single specialized career is probably always going to feel like a cage.
Okay, let's bring all of this home in our final act. Act 5, building your own castle. This is all about taking back your energy and deciding where it goes.
If you remember one thing, let it be this. That exhaustion you feel, it's not a character flaw. It's not a lack of work ethic. You're tired because every ounce of your creative energy is going into building someone else's dream, someone else's business, someone else's castle.
So where do you start? Look, it starts small. First, just stop telling yourself you're lazy. Accept that your need for autonomy is a real, valid thing. Then, just start one small side project, something that is 100% yours. Sell one photo, write one article, build one tiny website for a local shop. The point isn't to replace your salary overnight. The point is to prove to yourself that money can come directly from you, not just from a boss.
And that leaves us with one final, crucial question to think about. Every day, with every hour of work, you are laying bricks and building something. So you have to ask yourself, whose castle are you building?
Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe my channel now. Thank you for watching.